everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse. We today watched Season 3, Episode 4. It's called Homer Defined. George, explain what the episode's about.
So it is a Homer-heavy episode, as the title says, and as Homer usually does, he gets into some trouble when the nuclear power plant starts to have a meltdown, and Homer's job is to stop the meltdown, but he doesn't remember how to do it. So what does he do? He fakes his way through it, and by luck, he makes it work, and he stops the meltdown. And of course, he becomes a big celebrity in town, and everyone's thankful that he was smart enough to save their lives, when in reality it was not him being smart. He just lucked out, and he starts to feel guilty, and then he starts to realize he's a fraud, and funny things ensue because of that. So that's the main plot we got going on. We also have a subplot where Bart is sad because him and his best friend are breaking up because his best friend's mother does not want him to be Bart's friend because Bart is a troublemaker.
Thanks for going over the episode. Should we start with our favorite lines?
Yes, we can. You want to do the first favorite line?
Sure. So my favorite line, both of my lines were Homer lines. This is a very heavy Homer episode, and it's a great episode to watch. Pretty funny. So kind of early on in the episode, Homer's poking his finger through donuts. And, ew, lemon. Ew, cherry. Purple.
And then he bites it, and then the purple gets all over the gears, and you get the gauges, and you can't see. Yeah, that's fun.
It's pretty good.
So my first one's a Homer one as well. And so when all this is going down, and he's trying to remember how to fix it, because he had some training like 10 years ago when he first got the job, he was playing with a Rubik's Cube when he was supposed to be paying attention to the trainer, and then he's thinking back to his training, and all he can remember is the Rubik's Cube. And then it cuts back to the crisis again, and he says, "This is all your fault," and he has the Rubik's Cube again and throws it down. So, "This is all your fault" to the Rubik's Cube was my first favorite line. I like that a lot.
Good. There were some other ones that I wrote down, but I'm going to go with my second one, which just really cracked me up, is a nuclear reactor is a lot like a woman. You just have to read the manual and press the right button. And he was explaining that to Lenny and Carl in the break room.
Yeah, because they're like, "Oh, Homer, how did you know what to do?" And that was his answer.
That was his answer.
Yeah. Oh, man. So I'm going to break with the Homer ranks on my second favorite line. And this one is actually from Mr. Burns. So after Homer saves the day, there is a Shelbyville nuclear power plant owner, and it's voiced by John Lovitz, by the way. And he comes to see them at Mr. Burns' plant, and Mr. Burns introduces him to Homer and explains, "Yeah, this is the guy that saved the day." And he wants Homer to go to the Shelbyville plant and train them. And Homer knows he's a fraud. He knows he's screwed up. He didn't really do anything. He doesn't know what he did. So he's like trying to get out of it. And to back up, when Homer got all these accolades, he got Employee of the Month, and part of the prize was a plaque and a ham. And so my favorite line is when Homer's trying to get out of it, Mr. Burns gets mad at him, and he says, "Employee of the Month isn't all hams and plaques. There's responsibilities that go with it."
That's pretty good.
So, Employee of the Month isn't all hams and plaques.
Not hams and plaques.
I like that one.
That's pretty good. Going back to my first quote, I want you to pay attention to the purple of the inside of the donut when you watch this episode, because it might have something to do with the entire plot of
This is true.
the episode, which is great. So, just saying, keep your eye on the purple.
Keep your eye on the purple, absolutely. So you want to do the best scenes next?
Sure. So I want to point out that one of my best scenes just kind of has, I'm just going to go with it. It pops up throughout the episode. So it's not necessarily one single scene, but the episode is called Homer Defined. and he has various references to the dictionary where he's like, his first one is when you look up stupid in the dictionary, there's going to be a picture of me, which is that saying. But then throughout the episode, the dictionary pops up with various definitions that Homer is included in, and that as a whole is my favorite scene. So it's, kind of broken up throughout the episode, but I think it's great.
I like that gag. It's like Hero, because when he was riding that wave, then it showed that and it had a definition of that, and then there's Homer, and then fraud, and then, that was a clever device. I like that.
So I really like that, and if that's, like I said, all throughout the episode, if I have to pick one specific scene, when the power plant is in meltdown mode, the employees are running around like crazy and they have no idea what to do and no one is calm whatsoever, and the rats are running and there are like hundreds and hundreds of rats leaving the power plant. So that's my favorite scene if I have to go with one scene. What about you?
Well, we are on the same again because I picked the people panicking during the meltdown and rats running. But I'll also preference that with later when he fixes it and it's like, everything's okay or whatever it said. The rats come running back into the power plant, and like the guys that knocked over the soda machine, they pick it back up and they're like they pretending nothing happened. So the panic, but also the after panic when everyone's trying to pretend like nothing bad happened.
I like it.
That goes along with it. I like that too.
Good.
All right, so now we're down to winners and losers. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's go with your winner.
Okay. So my winner is actually a trifecta of 3 people that win for the same reason. And that's Barney, Chief Wiggum, and Magic Johnson. And the reason behind this is at the end of the episode, everyone realizes that Homer won by default. And so in the dictionary gag, you learn that there's a new pulling Homer-ism is what they define him as. So it's basically winning by default, by mistake.
I pulled a Homer.
So Barney pulls one by falling off his bar stool, and he finds like money or something under the bar.
He found a pretzel.
A pretzel, that's what he found. And then Chief Wiggum stops Snake in a robbery by he wasn't planning to. He was counting his pennies, and a penny jar fell and hit Snake on the head, and that's how Chief Wiggum caught him. So he won by catching Snake, but it was by doing something stupid. And then Magic Johnson flopped around and ended up getting a basket. And he says, I pulled a Homer of my own. So that's why I think those 3 are winners, because they get to win even though they didn't have to really do anything heroic to do it.
Right. So I went with Barney for my winner, and that was one of the reasons I went with Barney, but the other reason was that Homer had to go and give the speech to the Shelbyville nuclear power people, and he was just in panic mode at Moe's about doing this, and Barney gave him the sage advice of imagine everyone in their underwear. And so when Homer's nervous and he's going to give the speech, that pops in his head, and so I chose Barney as the winner because his advice was taken.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, I'm not in jail or whatever.
Right.
I got out of
he got
court.
Out of it
by using that trick. Yeah,
to give a speech,
that was a good one. All right, so and then we go to losers.
Yep.
And my loser was Smithers, but not for the reason you think. Of course, he didn't get the Employee of the Month and all that, and he was jealous. But really, it was because when the nuclear power plant was in meltdown, Mr. Burns takes Smithers' radiation suit. And it says Smithers on the suit, and Mr. Burns is in it. And Mr. Smithers is like, where's my suit? And Mr. Burns is like, I don't know, So I figure Smithers is in trouble if anything bad actually really happened, because Mr. Burns is going to get his suit. So that's why I picked him.
It's true. He had a rough episode, to be honest. But
he did, yeah.
It's a good choice. I'm going to go with Otto. And Otto, at one part of this episode, is driving the bus, and Bart's still on the bus because he's sad during the subplot.
Mm-hmm.
And Otto's oblivious that there's still a student on the bus. But then they get to talking, and Otto informs Bart that, he understands why Bart's so sad and depressed because Otto's wife just left him and married his brother a week ago. But it's okay because Otto's just sleeping on their couch now. So
that's all right because now I get to sleep on their couch. Yeah, he's trying to find a silver lining.
So that was my loser for the episode.
I liked it. That's a good one. So yeah, that was the episode, season 3, episode 4, Homer Defined. Fun stuff. I liked it.
It is.
Yep, it's good.
I have to point out 2 things with this episode. One, at the beginning of the episode, Homer's reading the newspaper, and the headline is America's #1 pencil is number 2, which cracked me up. And then also, the couch gag at the very beginning of the episode has an alien featured in it, and that alien shows up somewhere else in the episode. So I want you to look for that.
We're not going to say where. You'll have to watch it and look for the couch gag alien in the background of another scene. So
that made me laugh.
That was a good pullback.
Yep.
And this was the first episode that we've done where I actually wore a Simpsons related t-shirt.
Yep.
This is my brand new Homer Bat Signal is a Donut shirt. And so this was a perfectly appropriate episode to break this one out. So that was fun for me too.
Good.
Alright, so that is the episode, season 3, episode 4. We will be coming back at you next with the next episode in season 3. And that is it for this week. So until the next time, Jiminy Jokers! That is what we got going on here.
It's a hilarious episode. Oh boy.
Oh, well, that's going to be a fun one to muddle through, isn't it?
I'm crying. It's too funny.
Okay.
You're going to have to cut part of that out.
We are going to have to definitely cut part of that out.